Working towards Scratch has made one thing clear. I definitely misunderstood golf when I started. Welcome back to Sam Roberts Golf, and if you're just starting out in golf, I want to save you years of struggle and help you actually focus on things that matter. What to practice, what decisions to make, and how to better play the game of golf. When I had started, I was doing a lot of things wrong, whether that be practicing wrong, preparing wrong, or like I said, making the wrong decisions. In this video, I'm going to share my top 5 things that I wish I knew as a beginner golfer coming into it, and it would have saved me probably a lot of time and effort trying to get better in the long run. So if you like golf, definitely make sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump right into the video. First up is that you don't have to hit it far to actually score well. This is something that a lot of beginners think, man, if I can just hit it 300 yards, this game would be fantastically easy. But the truth of the matter is, good scoring comes down to how well did you hit it contact-wise, your short game, and just avoiding doubles in general. The more important thing to focus on is just keeping the driver in play rather than going for pure distance. This is something that a lot of pros that you see are doing right now, and it is leading to a lot worse fairway percentages among pros. A lot of pros are going for as much distance as they can get, one of which I can think of is obviously Bryson, and he is going to get as high of a speed as he can get, and ultimately it's making courses have to make their courses longer then as well, making it harder for the average golfer. But the truth of the matter is, you don't need to hit it far to score well. 200 yards in the fairway is a lot better than 260 yards off in the trees, off in the weeds, off in the pond. Avoiding penalties is a must, especially if you're trying to break 100, 90, 80, or especially trying to break par. Because of that, avoiding as many off of the tee that you can is crucial. So, the key of the matter is practice the driver only enough to keep it in play, but don't practice it for distance. If you're able to keep it in play off the tee, you're going to be set up pretty well anyway, especially if you're coming out of the fairway, no matter what your distance might be. But regardless, please also go practice within 100 yards, because I promise you, that's going to make more of a difference than practicing driver. Number 2 is that tracking stats actually does help, and if you use them correctly, it can help a lot. On this journey to Scratch, I am trying to learn how to take the stats of my golf and apply them to how I practice, how I play, and ultimately make myself a better golfer because of it. Tracking stats means tracking the important stats, such as the easy ones, such as putting, such as the score. Obviously, that's kind of important to be able to track what score you're shooting. But also fairways in regulation. Did you hit the fairway off the tee? And greens in regulation. And if you're new to golf, greens in regulation means hitting the green in 2 less than what par is. So let's say it's a par 5, you're hitting the green in 3 or less. If it's a par 4, you're hitting the green in 2 or less. And if it's a par 3, obviously hitting onto the green with your tee shot. So tracking those 4 are obviously the big ones, but then also tracking how many shots inside of 100 did you take? How many bunker shots did you take? Did you get up and down? Up and down meaning you had a chip and made a 1-putt. It's a lot of different stats that you can track, and nowadays it's never been easier to even track distances with your clubs, whether that be through GPS, whether that be through buying an affordable launch monitor, whatever that may be. But overall, tracking stats though as well, it is important to understand how to track your stats and then how to apply that to your practice. But not only is tracking the stats important, it is also important to understand them. If you struggle getting up and down out of the bunker, go practice bunker shots. If you struggle putting, go actually practice putting. It's as simple as that, but you have to be able to track those stats to understand what you need to practice and how to make yourself better at the game then as well. Number 3 is that golf is definitely more strategy than it is swing. An example of this is very hard country clubs. As you go around playing tougher courses, you understand very quickly that strategy is a lot more in play than having a good swing. Having a good swing is great, it is very fundamental in the game of golf, but also understanding your course and understanding what strategy to use when is also very beneficial. What I mean by this is a lot of beginners think that they need a better swing, when in reality they only need to make better decisions. When it comes to strategy, I have a great acronym for remembering the different steps of kind of just some different points that you can make, especially if you're trying to break 100 and trying to break 90, which most beginners, that's a beginning benchmark that they want to try to break when they play 18 holes. And that acronym is BACK. So, what does it mean? Well, B is bogey golf is still decent golf. A lot of average golfers, if they can average bogey golf, they'd be better than most other golfers, and that's the truth of the matter. Average golfers shoot right around a little over 90, and bogey golf is normally right at 90. So, bogey golf is actually still decent golf, especially if you're beginning out. A is away from trouble. So that means staying away from trouble in general. If you know that you have a slice for right-handers going right or left-handers going left, and there's a pond in the way of your slice, aim to the other side of the fairway. Or an important note is, if you take your tee box and you line up your ball, let's say you have a slice, if you put your ball on the right side of the tee box and aim towards the left side of the fairway, that gives you the most room for your slice to actually still land in play and keep it in play. And like I mentioned, it is crucial to stay in play off the tee. C is for center of the green. You do not have to go pin hunting every single hole. If you can hit it to the center of the green and two-putt, you're probably going to be doing pretty well. And let's say you get lucky with one of them and it ends up close, well then even better, you're walking away with a birdie. So the point of the matter is, don't feel like you have to go after every single flag stick to get lower scores. Just aim for the center of the green and move on from there. And finally, K is knowing when to lay up. So a lot of times you'll see the memes of layups are for basketball. Well, not always, especially when you are beginning in golf. It is important to know when to lay up and keep the penalty shots out of play, because as I mentioned earlier as well, penalty shots are the silent killers of your round. It is important, nay crucial, to avoid them at all costs if possible. This all ties into having better course management and knowing when not to take the hero shots. If you are behind a lot of trees and there is a little bit of a gap there, please do not take that shot unless you are over 80% sure that you can actually pull it off. And that's a good estimate for any shot in golf too. If you are over 80% sure that you can make that shot every single time, then okay, yeah, take the shot. But if you are kind of doubting yourself, or you're standing over the ball and you're not sure if you can do it, take a step back, rethink it, go through your process again, and really evaluate if you are able to pull this shot off. The number 4 thing I wish I knew when I was beginning in golf is that progress in golf is definitely not linear. And that is true for pretty much every sport then as well. Some days you're going to have rough days where you really can't shoot that well. Other days you're going to be lights out, and it's going to be the best round of your life. But overall, staying in that mindset of competing and practicing, you will get better at golf. A lot of beginners think, I'll just get better each and every time I play, and unfortunately that's just not the case. One day you'll shoot your best score you've ever shot, and then the next day you'll shoot 12 worse. And it just kind of comes in waves. You'll have moments of great golf, and then you'll have moments of golf where you really question if you should have sold your clubs on eBay the night before. But overall, it is very important to note you will not see results in a linear pattern. So as you're practicing golf and as you're getting these waves of different scores, it is important to remember for the mental side of golf, not to go crazy with yourself, because it is so easy to get wrapped up in, man, just last week I shot the greatest round of my life and now I cannot hit a putt to save my life. And going back and forth like that can definitely be hard. Even the pros have a bad round and then they bounce right back. Prime example has been Scotty Scheffler this year. He has started off each of the last few tournaments by shooting over par, and then comes back and almost actually wins the tournament in the long run. So just because you have a bad round is not the end of the world, and it's okay to realize that as well. And finally, the 5th point is please please realize that you do not have to try to emulate your swing after anyone in particular. There is no perfect swing. And a great couple of examples of that would be Jim Furyk at the top, because he obviously comes in a little shallow and then comes over the top with it. Or even Scotty Scheffler with his footwork that he has that would probably break the ankle on most amateur golfers. Not one swing is the correct way to swing it. What matters is that you figure out how you can swing the club best to get the best results, best contact, keep the ball straight, and aim for lower scores that way. Also, don't get too technical with your own swing. Don't record yourself and then try to teach yourself a move that you may have seen online from the day or the week before. It is important to more just find what works for you. And that could be something different for each and every person. That's not one that's one size fits all. It is important to know that every single person will probably swing a golf club very differently. If you can hit a par on a hole, you have the capability of getting par on every hole. So your swing is there. There's no swing mechanic that you need to fix. If you can shoot a par on a hole, you can par every hole, unless there are some like really difficult holes, which I know there are. Okay, I know there are. But overall, you can have the ability to do that well on every hole that you play. Some important notes with the swing, though, are flexibility does matter. So you need to be somewhat flexible in your swing. You can't be too stiff. So what works for a PGA Tour pro may not work for you, and that is a-okay. Like I said, you have to find a swing that works for you, where you get the best contact and the best results. All you have to do is build a repeatable swing. And if you do, well, then you're one step closer to lowering your score anyway. So there you have it, my top 5 things I wish I knew as a beginner golfer. If you like this video, definitely make sure to like and subscribe, and drop in the comments one thing that you wish you knew as a beginner as well. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless. We'll see you.